For as long as we've been human, we've looked up at that red star in the night sky and wondered, are we alone? We told stories of Martian invaders and lost alien civilizations, but it turns out we were looking in the wrong direction. The Martians are coming, and they are us. From the moment we began recording history, we've been fascinated with Mars. To the ancient Babylonians, its blood-red color made it the star of Nergal, god of war and plague. The Romans saw the same crimson glow and named it for their own, war god Mars, for thousands of years. Mars was a symbol of conflict, an ominous presence in the sky, an object of fear. But a few hundred years ago, everything changed. We pointed our first clunky telescopes at that red dot, and it snapped into focus not as a god, but as a world, a planet with seasons, clouds, and shimmering polar ice caps, just like Earth. Suddenly, Mars wasn't a warning anymore. It was a beacon of possibility, and with that possibility, our imaginations took flight. The idea of a living Mars really took hold in the late 19th century. Italian astronomer Giovanni Schiaparelli was sketching what he called canali Italian for channels. But in English, that was mistranslated as canals. And canals, of course, imply canal builders. That one small mistake set the world on fire. The idea of a brilliant, dying Martian civilization captured imaginations everywhere. It launched a golden age of science fiction, from H.G. Wells' terrifying War of the Worlds to Edgar Rice Burroughs' swashbuckling adventures on Barsoom. His version of Mars. Mars became a cosmic mirror reflecting our fears of invasion, our longing for connection, and our hopes for discovery. We dreamed of Martians. We feared them. We desperately wanted to meet them. The planet was no longer just a point of light. It became a character in the grand story of everything. And that powerful dream, that cultural obsession, did something incredible. It pushed generations of scientists and engineers to stop dreaming and start building. It was time to see for ourselves. But to understand where we're headed, we have to remember where we started. Because the road from fantasy to fact was anything but smooth paved, with spectacular failures, frustrating setbacks, and world-changing breakthroughs. The Cold War space race lit the fuse. In the 1960s, the United States and the Soviet Union launched probe after probe racing to reach Mars first. Most of these early attempts failed, burning up on launch, crashing into space, or falling silent in the void. Mars was not giving up its secrets easily. But in 1965, everything changed. NASA's Mariner 4 flew past Mars and sent back 21 grainy black and white photos. The results were sobering. No canals, no cities, no signs of life, just a barren, cratered landscape eerily similar to our moon. For a moment, the dream of a living Mars seemed dead. But in 1971, Mariner 9 became the first spacecraft to orbit another planet. It arrived during a global dust storm, and as the storm cleared, it revealed a world of stunning geological wonder. It spotted Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system, 3 times the height of Everest, and it unveiled Valles Marineris, a canyon system so vast it would stretch from Los Angeles to New York. Mars wasn't dead. It was dynamic, complex, ancient. Then came 1976. NASA's Viking landers became the first spacecraft to successfully touch down on the Martian surface. For the first time, we saw Mars from the ground, a rock-strewn desert beneath, a thin pink sky. The Viking landers weren't just cameras, they were laboratories. They ran experiments to look for life, and their results remain controversial to this day. They didn't find proof, but they tasted the soil, felt the wind, and made Mars feel real. For nearly 20 years after Viking, we sent no more landers. It was a long, quiet pause. But in 1997, the dream was reborn. Mars Pathfinder landed, carrying a tiny rover called Sojourner. No bigger than a microwave, Sojourner became our first mobile explorer on another world. And it worked. We weren't just landing anymore. We were driving. That moment sparked a golden era of Mars exploration. In 2004, twin rovers Spirit and Opportunity touched down on opposite sides of Mars with a mission, Follow the Water. Designed to last 90 days, they survived for years and traveled for miles. And they found what they were looking for: clear evidence that Mars was once a wetter planet. They discovered minerals that could only form in water, spirit and opportunity, proved that ancient Mars had the ingredients for life. Today, we continue that search with our most advanced explorers yet, Curiosity and Perseverance. Curiosity, which landed in 2012, has been climbing a mountain inside Gale Crater, reading its layers like pages in a book. It confirmed that the crater once held a habitable lake. Then in 2021, Perseverance landed in Jezero Crater, an ancient river delta. Its mission finds signs of past microbial life, and it didn't come alone. It brought Ingenuity, a tiny helicopter that made the first powered flight on another planet. Let that sink in. We now have mobile, flying robots on Mars. They're drilling, scanning, and exploring. The aliens have landed, and they're us. Perseverance is doing more than just searching for life. It's laying the groundwork for our future. The rover is collecting tubes of Martian rock and soil samples that will be returned to Earth in one of the boldest missions ever planned, Mars Sample Return. In partnership with the European Space Agency, NASA is preparing to launch a retrieval mission that will collect those tubes, launch them off the Martian surface, and bring them home by the 2030s. Meanwhile, China is developing its own sample return mission, Tianwen-3, aiming for a 2028 launch. These samples could transform our understanding of Mars and possibly of life itself. And that's not all. New discoveries are making a human presence on Mars seem more realistic than ever. We've found vast stores of pure water ice, hidden in glaciers just below the surface. Some studies even hint at geothermal energy, a reliable power source for future explorers. This is no longer one nation's dream. Today, spacecraft from the US, Europe, China, India, and the UAE orbit Mars together, mapping its surface, scanning its atmosphere, and preparing for the ultimate leap. And that leap is no longer a question of if, but when. From a blood-red omen of war to a fantasy land of alien invaders, Mars has always had a grip on the human imagination. We dreamed of Martians, never realizing we were prophesying ourselves. It's been a long journey from fearful stargazers to fearless explorers. We've sent our robotic hands and eyes to walk its deserts and climb its mountains. We've stopped searching for the Martians because we are becoming them. Mars is no longer a warning, it's a destination, a symbol of humanity's next bold step. And maybe, just maybe, our destiny isn't to merely look at the stars, but to live among them. The story of Mars is still being written, and we're living through the most exciting chapters. If this journey excites you as much as it does us, don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive on what it will actually take to build a city on Mars. And drop a comment below. What do you think we'll find in the samples Perseverance is collecting right now?